Rebels Creed by Daniel Greene. I finished it a few hours ago and have been kind of sitting with it. I want to talk about it, so all spoilers, full steam ahead. It's the sequel to Breach of Peace, which is the novella to start off the series. You can go ahead and watch my review on that from a few weeks ago, or if you've read the book. I will be kind of getting into that a little bit, but mainly focusing on Rebels Creed. So far, I guess with the overall series with both books, um, I kind of like it. There's some things that are intriguing, but also some things that they're just not landing for me. There's some ideas that the execution isn't bad. It's just not for me. It's supposed to be a trilogy, so I do want to read the last book just to see where the story goes. But it may not be a series that I come back to. When I'm reading through Rebels Creed, one of the ideas that I liked from the beginning was Breach of Peace kind of starts, let's just say here, and moves forward in the timeline to where the 7th police precinct is slaughtered. Rebels Creed takes us a step back, and we actually get to see another point of view starting several weeks before the 7th precinct is slaughtered, leading up to that. And that's kind of Chapman and his involvement with the rebels, and we get to be introduced to a few new characters who we're going to follow through to the end of Rebels Creed. In Breach of Peace, you have Holden Sanders, who's a police officer who has tried to become an investigator, but it just hasn't worked out for him in terms of maybe passing exams and whatnot. But he does end up becoming the main character for Rebels Creed. And the reason why is because even though he was a member of the 7th Precinct, he wasn't there the night they were slaughtered. So he pretty much wants to know what happened to his friends. He gets reassigned to the 11th Precinct. And the 11th Precinct is kind of in the slums of the city. And the precinct isn't as well ordered and structured as from what he's used to. So no one really kind of gets along. They're all kind of looking out for themselves. All the police officers are. But he does end up making a friend, Reki. And Reki and him end up becoming lovers. And because they're friends and lovers, she wants to help him figure out what happened with the 11th or with the 7th precinct, because he wasn't there, so he doesn't know the full story. Along the way, they end up realizing that Clid, the main character from Breach of Peace, is still alive, and they want to rescue her. They know that the Ministry has her. They don't know exactly if she's being tortured. They don't know that she is being experimented on, which we did learn in Breach of Peace, and it's further confirmed in Rebels Creed. But they want to rescue her, so Holden and Reki team up with Flip the Grip. Flip is an ex-lover and ex-boyfriend of Holden, and together they kind of team up with a few of the rebels and a writer from the Ministry who kind of commits treason to be willing to work with them. And they're going to go and rescue Clid. And the reason Holden and the rebels can kind of work together is the rebels, of course, don't like the empire that the Almighty has created. And Holden is starting to see some cracks in the, I guess, stained glass window that he saw the Empire as. Not that he was full loyalist for the Empire, for what the Almighty has created, but after what's been going on with the 7th, he's definitely having some questions, and he's not liking what he's seeing. So him and Reki and Flip the Grip and Joch, who's the writer, and the rebels, together they go on a mission to rescue Clid, and they do so. And one of the things that I did like about this story in particular is it's very street level. You don't get to see the entire world itself. It just stays within the city, and you kind of just get to see what the city is like in and of itself. But they do end up rescuing Clid. They're able to, they believe they kill an anointed, who the anointed is kind of like an angel, I guess, for the Almighty. And they think they kill an anointed, but she ends up surviving and is going to play a part in leading up to book 3. One of the things I will say is Breach of Peace kind of bleeds into Rebels Creed. Rebels Creed looks like it's going to bleed into the final book, and it's all bleeding up. It's all leading up to a war. And sometimes when you're setting things up for a war, you don't always like the setup. There are some aspects of Rebels Creed that I may not have liked, but it's all about setting up the war or setting up book 3, and I can go back and I can appreciate having that information later on, which is why I'm still willing to give it a chance, because it's not just a complete, well, not for me, I'll just toss it to the side. No, it's there are things here that I do enjoy, and sometimes it really is just a matter of finishing a few books, kind of allowing yourself to become emotionally invested in the characters. So I'm going to read the final book when it comes out. I do like some of the aspects, like I said, of just the street level of both books and how that's what Daniel Greene focuses on. I know he wrote another book that I have on my shelf called A Witch's Sin that I will get to in the future, and I'm kind of hoping it's the same thing, because I like a mix of both. I like to see massive world building, and like Lord of the Rings, which has kind of travels all over like Middle Earth and whatnot, and you get to see different aspects of that world. But also, it's just nice to see a story that's happening amongst regular people in kind of one central location. And I don't know if A Witch's Sin is going to be that. We'll just have to wait and find out. Those are just kind of my general thoughts. I know it's not like a super positive review, but I don't want it to come across as like really negative either. There are things I did enjoy. If you're looking for something street level, looking for something a little bit different, looking for even just supporting an independent author, Daniel Greene's one to check out. I know that a lot of people have enjoyed what he's written, especially with his newer book. Sometimes it just takes time. These first 2 books are the first 2 books he's written, and writing is a skill that you just get better at. So don't always judge someone by their first, or don't be too harsh, I guess, on when they're starting out, but pay attention to their career and are they growing and whatnot. And I definitely want to follow his career and learn more about what he has. Up next, I'm going back to A Court of Thorns and Roses. This one's going to be A Court of Mist and Fury. It's book 2. 50 pages a day, that's what I read. I think it might take me a week and a half or so to get through this one. That's when you might expect the review for that. But I will do shorts for YouTube and TikTok as well, which I think you can find the TikTok in the description of my YouTube channel. But yeah, I'll be going into this one next. If you can watch the review of A Court of Thorns and Roses. That one I really did like, and I made a comment about just Sarah J. Maas and how she's just kind of always surprising me, where for some reason there's just something about her ideas and execution that always brings me back, and really just enjoying her books and wanting to talk about them. I think Sarah Maas is my wife's favorite author, so my wife and I have a lot of fun going back and forth. But that's what I'm looking forward to. Rebels Creed, again, maybe not something that is for me so far, but we'll see where the story goes. And yeah, I guess we'll end it there. Goodbye.